Robert F. Kennedy Jr. holds a special place in politics, a place no other person dare aspire to, and no other politician wants. He's the only person running for president who is as crazy as Donald Trump, and that's saying something. From worms in his head to dead bears in Central Park to eating spit-roasted dog, RFK Jr. is his own brand of crazy. He's so delusional that he actually approached the Harris campaign to discuss taking a cabinet position in exchange for his support. We're going to take a look at his approach and Harris's response in just a second. But first, it's worth noting that Harris is not RFK Jr.'s first political crush. In fact, RFK Jr. first went a-courtin' with Donald Trump. The Washington Post reported that Kennedy met in Milwaukee last month with Republican nominee Donald Trump to discuss a policy role and endorsement that resulted in no agreement. In those discussions, Kennedy spoke about advising Trump in a second term on health and medical issues. Now, it's actually hard to believe that Trump would turn down an offer from the push-up promoting Kennedy for a cabinet position on health and medical issues. Kennedy would immediately appeal to the anti-vaxxer base that fuels Trump's candidacy. And Kennedy and Trump have so much in common. They both come from wealthy families, they both owe everything to their fathers, and they both have a tenuous grip on reality. What's not to love about this combo? And seriously, Kennedy wanted a cabinet position? How could he possibly be worse than Shady Vance? A Trump-Kennedy ticket would have been a runaway train wreck. But Trump being Trump, he went with the wannabe hillbilly instead. And so, rebuffed, Kennedy tried to arrange for a meeting with Harris. Even that, however, is a step down for Kennedy. The Washington Post reported that even after Kennedy left the Democratic nomination fight to pursue an independent campaign for president last November, his advisors continued to press the case privately that he could replace Biden as the Democratic nominee. And this is where it gets really good. The Post reports that in April, Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, RFK Jr.'s campaign manager and daughter-in-law, sent an email to Democrats arguing that only Bobby could defeat Trump. Note to all political candidates and political wannabes. If your campaign manager is your daughter-in-law, then your campaign is not quite the political juggernaut you imagine it to be. Just saying. So his attempt at shoehorning his way to the Democratic nomination having failed, Kennedy tried scheduling a meeting with Harris by reaching out through intermediaries. Hollywood talent agent Ari Emanuel and TV star turned director Rob Reiner, who is a beloved Democratic activist. Unnamed sources from the Harris campaign have stated that the first response to Reiner's overtures were, "God, jeez, the meathead." Actually, the response to Kennedy's overtures were even better. Though admittedly, who doesn't love an All in the Family reference? Am I right? But the Harris campaign response was a complete and utter lack of response. They ignored him. Translation, dude, wake up and smell the coffee. You are nowhere near as important as you think you are. Oh, and P.S.
Don't call us, now we'll call you.
But while the Harris campaign was busy ignoring the request, Democratic Party officials did not. Liz Smith, a spokesman for the DNC, stated, "No one has any intention of negotiating with a MAGA-funded fringe candidate who has sought out a job with Donald Trump in exchange for an endorsement." Undaunted, Kennedy said, "He hopes Harris reconsiders his offer of a meeting. I think it is a strategic mistake for them. That's my perspective. I think they ought to be looking at every opportunity. I think it's going to be a very close race." And there's your measure of RFK Jr.'s political acumen. Everything he just said is wrong. It's not even remotely a mistake for the Harris campaign to run as far away from the toxic Kenedy as they can. They should not look at every opportunity when their focused approach is doing so well, and the campaign momentum is demonstrating that it is not going to be a close race. Harris-Walz is going to trounce the orange blob, hopefully into oblivion. Now, listen, Bobby, I like to be a compassionate guy. I know it can be tough to have the door slammed in your face, but this is politics. And as you know, politics can be a dog-eat-dog world. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.